Hey everybody, here is 2-point perspective city block part 1. Follow these steps and you're going to turn this in 2 parts. Some of the things you need, obviously some paper, pencil, anything you have is fine. And eraser is always going to come in handy. And of course a ruler. So just to start, we're going to review again your 2-point perspective, and then we're going to kind of kick it up a notch. Eventually also you might want to have a pen. Any pen can do. We're going to keep it simple and we're just going to ink it, but yeah, you want to have that kind of ready to go. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the horizon, and I'm going to keep this kind of in the top half, just so we have a little more street to work with. And again, you want this to be as straight as possible. So make sure you kind of take a look and make sure this is pretty even. You can measure this if you want, but I'm just going to try to eye it. And I'll draw my horizon. At first, you kind of want to draw lightly because some of this stuff you're going to probably erase at some point. And I'm going to try to do this so you can see it. Now, again, in 2-point perspective, we are going to have 2 points, 2 vanishing points. So I'll put those at the sides. You kind of want them to be as close to the edge as possible, because everything kind of beyond that won't make any sense. And we're going to just draw, just kind of to get started, just to review, we're going to draw our first object. We'll make a building. I'm going to kind of try to keep this off the center, just so it is not, it's a little more interesting when you don't make this so central. Now, in 2-point perspective, again, one way you can approach this, first, draw that front corner of your box, and then you're going to connect the top and the bottom to each of your vanishing points. Again, I'm not going to draw this all the way because I don't want to, and that building's going to be much shorter than this line anyway. After this, we'll actually draw some roads, and we'll draw those all the way to the vanishing points. So I'm just going to draw, again, connect that bottom line to each of those vanishing points. Also the top point, top edge of that front corner. I'm going to go to each vanishing point. And that's going to give you your sides of your box, so those left and the right side. Now remember, this is below our horizon, so we're going to be looking down on this box. And then all I have to do is decide where I want to end this. I'm going to keep this on the short side. So here's my left edge. Try to make sure these are all parallel lines. These should be vertical too. Here's my right edge. And again, what that's going to do, it's going to give you a point here and here. That's going to be the back edges. And again, we're going to connect those to your vanishing points on the opposite side. Again, if you don't have a ruler, just get some sort of straight edge. The longer the better. Something you can kind of maneuver around is also helpful. A book will do. And then I'm going to connect this back corner, and you have your first kind of box. And again, below the horizon, so we're looking down on it. Here's the top. I'm gonna kind of erase these extra lines. Again, what we're gonna do after this is we're going to ink all of this and add some detail. But we'll do that in stages. All right, so here's our first block. Now, again, what this is going to end up as is a kind of a city block. And so what we'll do next is we'll add some streets. And so here's our building, our kind of front building. Again, notice I kept this off the middle. It's kind of a little boring, and you'll see that a lot if you put that building right in the middle. So what I'll do next is I'll draw my sidewalk, kind of the edges of the street. And I want to put a little space in between that kind of front of the building and the sidewalk. Not too much. You don't want your sidewalk to be too wide. You also want to think about the size, your scale of your objects. How big is this building going to be? How big is the sidewalk going to be? I'm going to keep this rather small. So now I'm going to draw this all the way to that vanishing point because that street is going to go all the way and vanish. Same thing on this side. I'm going to kind of draw this so you can see it. And I want to keep sort of that same amount of space on the sidewalk here. And there's my first edge. Now, if I really wanted to, well, I'll do that after. I'll draw the other side of the street. Again, keep in mind how big your buildings are going to be. I'm going to keep these streets sort of narrow. I'm going to think about the size of a car on this street. This is going to be a 2-lane street. So there's the other side of the street. And then same thing I'm going to do on the other side. And you can, again, kind of edit this as you go. So draw lightly at first. All right. Now, technically, let me just continue this street. So it doesn't end. All right, and we kind of have a block here. We'll do that on the other side too. And here is our kind of intersection. Now, I'm gonna kind of zoom in here just so you can see this better. And I'm going to make a little bit of a sidewalk. This is kind of extra. I'm going to get a little more detailed here. You want to keep this pretty narrow. I'm just going to kind of make a double line here. It's hard for you to see that actually, but it's there. And same thing on this side. Pretty narrow line here. These are verticals. All right, that'll be my sidewalk. Let's go ahead and add in another building on this block here. Now, what's nice about this is you already kind of have a guideline with your streets here. And also this first building that you drew. So you can kind of use that as a guide. Put a little space here. So there's that line for the next row of buildings. Let me add this front corner in. Now notice there's going to be an alley here. This is a vertical line, so that's that front corner. Again, the corner closest to us. And I'm connecting that the same way I did with the beginning. I'm going to connect it to the vanishing points on both sides. Now, when I draw this, I can stop at that other building because, again, this is going to block that diagonal. I'm going to make this one a little taller, so I'll keep this line. Make that a little taller. And now I'll connect that one to my vanishing points. Okay. So there's that second building. And I'm going to draw the other edges. So the left edge. Again, you can make this wider, you can make it thinner. I'll make this one a little bit skinnier on this left side. Again, this is another vertical line for that left edge. And then the right edge, same thing. Now, again, I don't have to draw that full line. I just have to go until it hits this other building. So, just like that. And then I can connect this point and this point to the vanishing points. And that'll give us the back edge. There's that back edge. And there's that other back edge. Okay. And I'm going to erase again, just so that's not in my way. And now we have two buildings on our block. Let's go ahead and try one down here. And again, here's where you're going to kind of mix things up, but you can still follow the same general steps. If you want, you can still do the front corner first. So I'm just going to kind of pick a random spot here. And I'll do, again, a vertical line. That's that front corner. And I'm going to start with the bottom. And I'm connected to my vanishing points again, which again are here and here. So now as kind of we move towards those edges, you'll see those diagonals getting a little more severe. So again, connect your bottom point to your vanishing point on both sides. This one I'm going to stop once I get anywhere close to that side edge. Remember, we have a sidewalk here. So I'll just stop it there. And again, I'll put my vertical here, and I'll put it here. The top of the building is going to be up to you. I'm going to have this cover the street, so I'll just go a little higher. And again, connect to your vanishing points. Same thing, again, connect both of the top and the bottom edge to your vanishing points. There's that building, and then again, from this bottom edge, I'll just go straight up. You can start comparing these lines to your other vertical lines, make sure they're kind of going parallel to that. So that'll end there. And that'll end here. If your buildings are sort of following, again, the rules of perspective, they should get bigger closer, kind of get smaller farther away. And now I have these back edges. I'm just going to erase the street here just so you can kind of make sense of these diagonals. And again, connect to your vanishing points. And there's your building across the streets. And now you have kind of a growing city block. We're going to kind of continue building this out. You want just a few simple boxes here and there. And then we can do a little more interesting of some buildings. And we'll do, well, we can actually attach it to this block if we want. So let's do that. And we'll just modify it so that it kind of continues going. So what we'll do here is we'll continue this kind of left diagonal line. We'll make that go a little longer. And I'll put this kind of section right around that point in the line. I'll add another box down here. So what I'll do here is I'll just draw another diagonal from that point. Like that. And I'll draw a vertical line. Let me just erase this. Okay. So you can sort of see this face here is going to connect to this face here. So we don't need this bottom edge. And what I'll do is I'll make a vertical line. This is technically going to be off the, well, I'll make it here just so you can see it. So here's our new kind of edge. Okay, so we have a corner here. That's going to go to your vanishing point. We have a corner here. That's going to go to your vanishing point. We have a corner here, and that's going to go to your vanishing point. So I'll connect those, and then hopefully that makes some sense to you. So diagonal, and then diagonal here, again, to the same vanishing point. And then a diagonal here, also to the same vanishing points. All right, so now that gives us some lines to think about. So we have kind of a line here, we have a line here, we have a line here. Now this is that back edge. So what I can do is draw this to that vanishing point. And that's going to give us that back right edge. Right? And again, I'll have a line here, and here I can just draw a vertical line. To that bottom. Use that sidewalk. So now we have sort of an L shape in 2-point perspective. Again, theoretically, all this does, if I draw here, again, we just have a smaller box here. It just happens to be connected to this taller one. And again, they all follow the same rules. Front corner, connect that to your vanishing points on the top and the bottom. Same thing here. Here's the front corner of that second half of that building. And again, connect that to your vanishing points on the top and on the bottom. And again, you just have to kind of picture the boxes, understand what's not going to be visible, what is going to be visible. And so we have a few buildings here. I'm going to have you guys fill this out. So add a few more. We have 3. You can do another kind of more complex building. You can do a few more simple ones. And you want it to kind of fill out this space. Again, once you get way back here, you can kind of stop because these are going to be really small and off in the distance. You can make a taller building too. Just have your vertical line go above that horizon, and you can start to add in some taller structures. Follow those same rules. Draw that front corner, connect the top and the bottom to your vanishing points. Don't forget where your street was. Here's that left edge. Here's the right edge. What's nice about this one, I don't have to draw that bottom because it's blocked by the buildings in front. So once you start getting more structures in place, it's gonna in some way get easier because you're not gonna have to draw it all. So here's one in the background a little bit, slightly taller, again above our horizon. And let's do a few more. You guys can do that on your own. So we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 right now. Fill it out a little bit. You can go across the street too. It's okay to leave some empty spaces. You can do things like add a park or some empty space. I'll do that quickly right now, maybe on this side here. I'm going to preserve that kind of sidewalk space. And I'm still going to follow the rules of what we've been doing. So drawing these diagonals to the vanishing points. So here's our kind of open park space. I won't draw any structures yet on that. I'm just going to put a kind of a square in that space, and then we can fill that in later. Okay, so again, what you want to do is kind of complete the same steps. You can move the buildings around. Obviously, you want it to be your own, but you want, at the very least, for this first part, you want what you see on the example we have here. And then go ahead and add a few more buildings to fill that out. So currently you have 1, 2, 3, 4 buildings. I would say add at least 4 more. And that's what you're going to turn in for part 1 of this. Part 2 is going to be just kind of dressing it all up, making it look a little more like an actual city with some life to it. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you get this part 1 turned in. Thanks.